Let us also know your technology stack or your profile. Are you a Python developer, data analyst, business analyst? We want to know so that we're able to tailor our conversation to suit you. Today we're going to be talking about the UK global talent, and we're going to be explaining that visa in details to everyone today. So if you have been on the call before, you're welcome once more. If this is your first time on joining this eMigr8, you're welcome to the platform. We talk everything tech on this platform. So we're talking about the global talent visa, and we're going to explain that visa to us. The endorsing body is Technician for the United Kingdom, right? And there are a few changes that has been initiated or that have been introduced rather, right? We want to talk about those changes. There are a few bottlenecks that people are experiencing. We want to unpack that. If you have questions around the global talent visa, you want to put those questions on the chat, right? If you have ever applied for the global talent visa and you've been rejected, either recently or, before now, we want to put it in the chat. Let's know, what was the experience like and what was the reason, if you can share why you were denied, right? So we want to explain the visa part to everyone today to give us a better knowledge and equip us with useful information that we can use for those of us looking at the UK global talent, looking to apply to the UK global talent visa. All right. Welcome. All right. If you are on the call, usually we give out gifts at the end of the call. So for those of us that will be at the end, that will be on the call to the end, we have loads of gifts that we will be sharing with you. Right? Remember, it's tech-enabled visa opportunity. We have gifts that we give out that will help you in that journey to relocation and settlement. Right. So let's go forward. We have loads of resource online and on our app. So if you download our app, you'll find this information there. We've talked about different visa routes exclusively and extensively over the years, right? So we have this video on YouTube. We have them on our app. The beauty of going to the app is that you have these videos in one location, so you could just binge on them one after the other. What we are talking about, move to the US, the O1 visa, we have talked extensively about that, whether it's moved to Australia with the talent visa, the global talent visa Australia, we've talked about that, or moving to Hong Kong, we've talked about that. We've talked about moving to Canada, right, as a startup founder. We've talked about moving to the UK with innovator founder visa, which is also a startup visa, right? We've talked extensively about the technician visa, and today we're still going to be talking about the global talent visa. I'm trying to explain the visa in detail to everyone. And if you have questions, we would like to clarify and unpack. We'd like to answer as many questions as time will allow us to. So yes, we have various resource online, especially on our platform, our web platform, and our mobile application. Our mobile application is available on Google Play Store and Apple Store. So you can check it out, and you can also download it via our web platform, right? So UK Global Talent Visa explained. That's what we're looking at. We're going to explain how it works today and what are the changes that have been introduced and why people are finding it difficult in recent time to cross some of the new hurdles, right? And fantastic, right? I talked about our app earlier. We have the eMigr8 Tech app. If you go on your Google Store or your App Store and with a simple search, eMigr8 Tech Visa, you will find the app, download it. You have information, give you direct access to all our information in one portal, right? So you can access videos, resources, articles we've written in the past, and you can also connect with us through our app, request to speak to a coach, book a session with a coach, and also join our community. Right. So take advantage of that. There is also a gift for individuals that are using the app for straight 1 week. So for straight 7 days, if you are logged on to the app and you're active on the app for straight 7 days, right, you get to win a gift. We currently have Settle in the UK as a tech talent, a campaign ongoing, and we have kept this running because of demand, right? So if you are looking to move to the UK, right? And this package is for you. You want to, send a text or WhatsApp to the numbers on your screen, and we can take the conversation forward. The idea behind this is that you are able to move with your family, you're able to move your businesses. If you have a business, you're able to move as an individual, right? And we are combining multiple routes together for this particular Settle in the UK campaign. And it involved a bit of investments because of one of the visa route, which is Innovator Founder Visa, that specifically talks about moving your business. So you have to invest in that route. So that's why we have an investment budget that is needed. We ask that you give us 3 to 6 months timeline to work with you to be able to land in the UK. This pathway is guaranteed, and you would find it very easy and very useful because we have coaches that will walk you through. It is also beginner friendly and also dependent friendly, so you can move with your spouse and your kids if you are married or have dependent, right? So it's a fantastic campaign. It's been ongoing for a minute, and if you're looking to move into the UK through the Global Talent Visa, through the Innovator Founder Visa, or the Skilled Worker Visa, you want to look at this campaign and let us know. Let's have conversation, and we can network you with the right coaches that will get you started. All right. Pay attention to our social media handles and on our apps, and also on our webpage. We usually announce the next editions and who is coming up and what topic we'll be talking about. So we're looking at Innovator Founder Visa or the move to the US visa next. Just pay attention. We're going to be confirming which of them is coming up first. And for the month of October, I'm speaking exclusively to the eMigr8 Open Day for October. So eMigr8, if you are joining us for the first time, you're curious to say, who are these guys? What is eMigr8? And I will help to unpack it a bit. What we do at eMigr8, like I said, we're a tech-enabled platform for relocation and settlement. Our objective is to help you become globally attractive. That's our main objective, right? To help you become globally attractive so that you can trade your skill sets in a global market rather than just limited to your immediate market, right? So our objective, like I said, is to help you become globally attractive. And we are not just looking now at you as an individual, we're looking at your tech profile, and we're also looking at, for those that have a startup or have business, we're also looking at your tech-enabled business profile, profiling it in such a way that you can position it for investment, you can position it for relocation, and you can position it to attract clients across the globe. For us, the visa is only a side effect of our objective, because if you are globally attractive, nations would typically create opportunity for you to come into their ecosystem and contribute to their ecosystem, either by growth or by employing their citizens and increasing their GDP per capita. So it is a win-win for all parties involved when it comes to relocation, when it comes to moving to a new ecosystem, right? What do we do at eMigr8? What kind of service do we offer? We offer free information services like this one, which is an open day where we get to answer loads of questions. We get to tell you about changes. We get to tell you about the new information and how you can navigate your journey towards relocation and settlement, right? So it's free information like this. We also have general inquiry session. Like I've said, you can use the chat to ask general questions throughout this session. I will do well to answer them. We have coaching and hand-holding session. If you stay to the end of the call, you generally give a gift. Some of them are free coaching session, right? Limited free coaching sessions. We also have services that covers assessments of your qualification status for all of the visas. So depending on the visas that you're planning to apply against, we can do assessment to check, are you qualified for this visa? What are your chances of getting or landing this particular visa that you're looking at? We also have self-directed roadmap to qualify for a tech-enabled visa. So if you are a beginner or you're a junior developer, or you've done 5 or 3 years in the industry and you're looking at where do I start from? We can curate a roadmap that's unique to you, and you can walk from there to landing in your preferred destination, right? You can also join us. We have what we call we can curate for you a roadmap to becoming globally attractive if you are a junior developer again. Even if you're a senior developer and you're looking to increase your skill set, expand your portfolio, right? Or work in a tech-enabled platform or ecosystem, or work in a product-led digital ecosystem, or build a product-led product, right? We can curate that roadmap for you to make you become more globally attractive. What we do, examples of what we do is to review the global talent visa across many nations. We also review tech visas across many ecosystems. We also review the UK global talent visa for application for those that are looking forward to apply. We can have a coaching session where we review your application before you put it out. We also review endorsement review process for those that have already applied, and for one reason or the other, there's a need to appeal, right? We can also review with you the endorsement process. Now, what we do 80% of the time, 85% of the time is free, right? Our platform, we have free stuff, free videos on YouTube that you can learn from, free coaching sessions that we give every now and again, right? Free community that you can join and ask questions. Open days like these are also free. But we do understand that there are also unique individuals among us that want specific services. So we have premium service that covers those specific individuals. So we have the eMigr8 Circle. This is a premium community. We do personalized coaching session, usually runs for 30 minutes to an hour, right? They're paid services. For eMigr8 Premium also, we do have standard package review and also do introductions where needed for under the premium services. And we also have custom service that is tailored to your uniqueness. So if you're a C-level executive and your time is a bit constrained, or you're indisposed and you want us to work around your tight schedule, we can build custom services that suits your time schedule, right? So that is why it's premium, because again, we're working around your own timeline, right? If you're interested in any of these services, right, you have to go to our app or go straight to emigrate8visa.com /tech visa, and you'll find a short form there that you just need your basic information, right? And where you are and what visa you're looking at, so that we're able to connect with you correctly and we're able to speak to the uniqueness of your circumstances rather than giving you generic information. So do well to fill out the form. Just let us know who you are, where you are at, and what you're looking at. We have different packages across different countries. This is not an exhaustive list, right? We have moved to the UK, focusing on global talent for the UK, right? Which is global talent is what many call the technician visa also. We also have moved to the UK as an innovator founder. So fantastic. So if can you mute if you're not right? Fantastic. Thank you very much. So we have moved to the UK as a startup founder, innovator founder visa for the UK also. We have moved to the US. This is as a global talent. This focuses on the O1 visa for individual with extraordinary ability and achievement. We also have a package called Move to Canada as a startup founder, right? We've done not exhaustive. We've done detailed conversation around that visa. Move to Canada as a startup founder. We have resources online that will benefit you. We have settled in the UK as a tech talent. That is the global talent, innovator founder visa, and skilled worker visa package that we're currently running with triple guarantees of success. It's currently running. We have the Self-Start UK route also for UK self-sponsorship route for individuals looking to sponsor themselves. We have that sponsorship route to the UK, right? Any of this package that you're interested in, you can drop it on the chat to say, I'm interested in the self-sponsorship route, I'm interested in the Canada route, and we will connect you. I will connect with you. So use the chat very well. We have a community which is very active and very vibrant across WhatsApp, across Telegram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. There's loads of information. Questions are always being asked. Questions are always being answered in the community. The beauty of being in the community is that you are speaking with like mind. You're speaking with people who are on the same path as you. So you would readily have company right? You already have individuals that you can speak to. So do well to join the community. What I ask is that you like, you share, you retweet, and you comment, you comment, and please respect each everybody's comments in the group. Everybody's on a different level. So somebody can be asking a very basic question, but the fact that you're an expert does not mean you will talk down on the person. Just general etiquette of a community. Please observe that in the room when you join any of the community. Thank you very much. All right. I've talked about the eMigr8 app, right? So you can download our app across the App Store, Google App Store, iOS Store, uh, the Google Play Store, or the iOS Store, or even on our website, the emigratvisa.com. The beauty of using the app is that all the information you're looking for are in one portal. They're in one place, and you can navigate within the app, right? Rather than Googling and searching all over the internet, we have them in one place. So it's easy for you to connect, to navigate using our app. All right. And I said to you guys, if you are active on the app for 7 days straight, there's a tracker for 7 days straight. You win gifts. One of the gifts is a free coaching session. And you get to speak to one of our coaches. I think that's very cool. So if you've been on the app for straight 7 days, right, you are going to win a free coaching session. So that's fantastic. I'm going to talk about some of our partners. Remember, our objective is to make you globally attractive, right? And we do that in partnership with some brands and some brands and some of our sister companies within technology, right? So one of them is the Bincom Dev Center, right? Bincom Dev Center is a technology hub, and one of the services they run is the Bincom Global Tech Program. Now, the Bincom Global Tech Program is targeted to developers, non-coding or non-engineering tech enthusiasts also, beginner level, intermediate level. So if you want to be, become a product manager, you want to be a DevOps personnel engineer, or you're looking at increasing your technology stack as a data science or data scientist, we have different courses and different cohorts you can join within the Bincom Global Tech program, right? One of the promise of value here is that you're going to learn skills and you're going to gain experience because you're going to be working on a real life environment and you're going to gain exposure, right? So that is the beauty, and that is why it edges you self-learning or going on YouTube and learning on your own, because you don't have the data sets, you don't have the the real life problems to solve. But joining the Bincom Global Tech Program allow you to work with engineering team who are working on a real life project, so you can learn from them. You can also get experience working with engineers who have skill set, or working with product manager who have built multiple products, and also be part of building a product which gives you exposure. So that's the beauty of it. It's very beginner friendly, so you can join as a beginner. As if you're a junior developer or you are on an intermediate level, you can also join. If you've been developing for a while or you've been building yourself, teaching yourself online, which is fantastic, by the way. But if you're looking to now work on real life project, this is a fantastic opportunity that you want to take advantage of. Simply go to bincom.net/global tech. That is where you'll find the Bincom Global Tech program. Sign up and you'll be connected to the next cohort or the next session, right? We also have the Bincom Dev Center also have become a tech talent. This is focused on the UK market. Right. If you're looking for a job within the UK ecosystem, we have individuals who can, if you're an individual looking for a job within the UK, we have a tech career coaching service as part of this program. We have tech training as part of this program. We have tech entrepreneurship, tech apprenticeship opportunity within the UK as part of this program. Individually, these are all paid services, but together we're giving it at a discount of £1,000 for 3 months, right? So this is a pathway to landing a tech job, and also a pathway to landing a tech visa if you're an intermediate or advanced level. Now, if you're a beginner, it's a fantastic way to learn, know what the industry look like and grow. But if you're already a junior developer or an advanced level and you're looking for a job in the UK, it's also a fantastic platform, fantastic product you want to be part of to get that next job that will sponsor your visa, right? So if you're in the UK, you want to take advantage of this program, go to bincom.net/global tech and fill the form. We want to know who you are, where you are on your journey, and what you're looking at for. And you can also send us a text or WhatsApp to the number on the slide. If you need a number on the chat, just simply make that request and we will drop it in the chat also. Other services include the Bincom mentoring platform. So for many of the visa opportunity around tech, they want to know, have you given back to your society? Are you a mentor? Have you spoken to a large audience and things like that? Have you been recognized? Things like that. What is your impact story like? And mentorship is one of those things that you can easily use to check those boxes. So if you are a senior developer in the room, a C-level executive in the room, we ask you to join this platform and mentor mentees who are tech enthusiasts, junior developer, intermediate level, product manager, project manager who are coming up. They need mentors. Please, 30 minutes in a week, an hour in a week is all we ask for, right? To be able to speak to somebody's journey and help them navigate better. And if you are a tech enthusiast in the room, you're still building as a junior developer, we ask you to also join the community and we'll pair you with mentors. It is a very fantastic, everybody can do well with a mentor, and every mentor can do well by passing their knowledge and their skills, their knowledge and information to the next generation or to their mentees to be able to help them navigate the journey faster, right? So bincom.net/mentor registration is the URL you want to go to sign up as either a mentor or a mentee, right? All right. Last by Bincom, I will take a bit of time to talk about this because most of the visa opportunities that we speak to are looking for people that have built a product or have worked in product-led digital technology organization, right? So Last by Bincom is a platform where you come together with 3 or 10 other cohorts and build a startup. You create a startup from scratch, right? And so from ideation to building, going through all the product life cycle, and also launching and scaling the product is what you're going to be doing between 3 to 6 months of working together as a team. And why this is important is that it helps you as a product manager or even as a developer to build your portfolio, right? You can use this to build your portfolio. You can add it to your CV and your resume. And if you've built products before, or if you've built a startup before, you can build multiple startups. So it's a win for everybody, right? And if you are looking to apply for, either the O1 visa, the technician visa, or an innovator founder visa, this is a fantastic platform you want to join so that you have the experience of working in a startup, especially for those of us that are in technology, but they're in the service angle or consulting part of technology, right? So if you've been in the service arm or in the consulting arm of technology, you want to invest in building a product and building a product that you can present to say, I worked on this, I built this, I contribute to this when you are applying for any of the visa route. It is one of the frequently asked questions. Have you worked in a product-led digital organization? Have you built a product before? Right. So it's a fantastic platform. Last by Bincom, it's a paid platform, right? Because of the knowledge that has been shared, the timing, the coaches that are involved, right? So it's a paid platform. So if you're interested, go to bincom.net/lab. All right. The next cohort is around the corner and they will add you to the next cohort. It's 3 to 10 individuals with different skill sets in a particular cohort, and they are building a startup, an idea from scratch, right? And pushing it to the market. All right. Fantastic. Other services include the Bincom Tech Career Coaching Service. Now, if you are looking to land a role, If you're looking to build relevant experience in your targeted country, whether it's in the United Kingdom, or America, Canada, or you're looking to connect to tech recruiters, right? This is a fantastic platform for you. The Tech Career Coaching Service. It's a paid platform, right? Where we connect you to recruiters, we connect you to coaches that can help you review your CV, make sure you're using the keyword, make sure you are speaking the language of today, right? Because the job market in 2013 is different from the job market in 2023, and the job market in 2023 is different from the job market of 2024. So you want to know the changes, you want to know how to position yourself in this current job market. And that is why this platform exists, to help you communicate, help us communicate this information that you can use, right? So if you go to beancom.net/career tech career coaching, right, that is where you want to go. It's a paid platform, right? Because we are connecting you to tech recruiters, we are connecting you with industry information that you would need, right? And we're connecting you to job openings also. And that is where you want to go to. And let's have conversations. Let's see where you are. Let's help you review your CV, and let's help you position your CV rightly. All right. These, again, is not an exhaustive list of the countries and the visas that we speak to, right? But you just, if you can take a screenshot of this slide, and you can do your research on any of the visa routes, right? But we have coaches who have gone through these visas route, and they are living in these countries already, and they can help coach you. They can help put you through. They can help you point in the right direction if you're interested in any of these visa paths. Now, if you're a startup builder and you're interested in the UK, there is the Innovator Founder Visa. We have coaches and we have individuals that have gotten this visa through our platform, and they can speak to their uniqueness. They can help you point you in the right direction, what you should be doing at this point in time, what your application should look like, and what you should avoid, the pitfalls to avoid. They can help you. We also have the International Entrepreneur Paro visa for the US, focus on startup founder. We have the startup visa for Canada. Now, time will not permit me to go over each of them, but today we're going to be talking about the Global Talent Visa, explaining the Global Talent Visa, how to go about it, and that's a talent visa for the UK. But we also have the Global Talent Visa stream, Global Talent Stream for Canada, and Global Talent Visa for Australia. You can do your research on any of these visa routes. And if you have questions, come to the platform, ask the question, and we'll do it to help you unpack it. Right. Yeah. We also have the temporary visa, or what we call the digital nomad visas for, countries like Germany, Canada, France. If you're interested in any of those visas, and other digital nomad visa for like one for Portugal, we can have those conversations, and we have a coach that can speak to it. We also have the UK self-sponsorship route. So if you want to sponsor yourself, you want to move to the UK with your own organization, and you are looking at the self-sponsorship route, right? We have that package also. We can speak to it when you're ready, right? We have coaches who have gone through that can help you navigate that path. Now, the lowest common denomination, or what is significant or unique to every of those visa opportunity, is the fact that you have to be globally attractive. These countries are looking for the best of the best to come into their ecosystem, right? They are looking for the best of the best to come into their ecosystem, right? So you have to be globally attractive. That is what we do at eMigr8, is to help you become globally attractive. That's why we're having this open day. That's why we're answering the questions in the chat. That's why we are having coaching sessions and helping you, making sure you're putting your best foot forward, making sure you're reviewing your profile the way it should be reviewed, right? And the beauty of the visas we focus on is the fact that many of them lead to pathway to settlement. Many of them you can move with your family, right? And they are beginner friendly. So if you are a beginner in the room, if you're just trying to move into tech and you're in the room and you're wondering, when will I get to this point? We have what we call self-directed roadmap sessions that we can engage in. And as a beginner, we can plot a map that you can follow to land these visas, right? Here we are focused on tech-enabled visas opportunity. This list is not exhaustive. If you have questions about other benefits that you're looking at, put it in the chat, and we'll be able to answer them, right? We do have a landscape, an article that was written, that was curated for 2023 landscape. Basically, what we did is the tech-enabled visa landscape for 2023 by eMigr8. We do have that. If you need it, we can share it on the group. What it does is to curate all the changes that happened in 2023, the visas that were introduced in 2023, the visa that were phased out in 2023, for example, the updates that that was introduced in 2023. So if you need them, if you need those information, we can share that on the chat. Just request for it and we'll share it. It's just a useful information to guide you so that you are aware where we are. So for example, the UK used to have something called the startup visa, but in 2023, that startup visa became innovator founder visa, for example. So if you are looking for the startup visa online, you probably will not find it anymore. What you will find is the innovator founder visa. So having this information will save you time save you a lot of time instead of going looking for things that have been phased out. You just know exactly what you should be looking for and looking at. Now, if you think you don't yet qualify, if you're a beginner in the room, if you're trying to get into tech, right, you're switching career at the moment and you say, oh, I don't think I qualify, all right, we think you do qualify. We think in a period of 3 to 6 months, you would be in a better position to make better decision on if you qualify or not. But we do have what we call a roadmap session, right? A personalized roadmap session that we can engage with you, especially if you're a newbie or if you're a junior developer in the room. We can design a roadmap that you can follow for the rest of 2024 or 2025, depending on when you're looking at relocation. And we can sit down and look at your journey, appraise it, and build a roadmap that was special to you, unique to you, that you can follow to land any of the visa that you're opportunity that you're interested in. So newbie, beginner, intermediate, expert, this session is for you, right? If you're an expert in the room and you're wondering where do I start from, we can have this session and we can define a North Star that you can work towards, right? And so today, we have Coach Bade in the room. He's going to be talking about the UK Global Talent Visa, and he's going to explain to us how it works. There are new changes that has been introduced over the last 6 to 7 months, right? Those changes are affecting some of our application and how people apply, right? And Bade will be going through that conversation and try to unpack it. So if you have question around the Global Talent Visa, otherwise known as the Technician Visa, use the chat and drop your question there. Hi, Bade. Are you still with us?
Yes, I am Mudiba. I'll need a minute. So they want to talk about just the visa landscape or something for just a minute or two.
No,
I'll be
no,
on to it.
yes. So I don't, you can go ahead. I was just going to say, if you are interested in any of the visas or any of the opportunity I've spoken about, right, in this session, the last 15 minutes, if you're interested in any of them and you didn't get the website, you can send a text message or a WhatsApp message to any of the number on your screen, right? Whether you're looking at Innovator Founder Visa, you're looking at the Global Talent Visa, or you're looking at, the Bincom Global Tech Program, you want to be involved in that, you can send a text to this number on your screen or a WhatsApp message to this number on your screen, and we'll be able to connect you to the right information, put you in the right room, connect you to the right set of people that you should be speaking with. And if you are also interested in our premium service, you can also reach us on this number, particularly if you're interested in Labs by Bincom, because I think it's very important, especially for those of us that are in consulting, especially for those of us that are looking, that have business ideas or startup ideas, and they're wondering, how do I start up a business or a tech business? Maybe you want to join a cohort and build one first before going to building your own tech business or your tech idea. So the Bincom, Labs by Bincom allows you, right? Allows you build a startup and go through all the exercise and the ceremony of building a startup. So if you're interested in that, send a WhatsApp message, or if I'm you, take a screenshot of the number, or save the number down, and we can connect and we can have conversations around that to make sure we are setting you up for success, right? And so that's for everything I've talked about. Anyone that catches your interest, I will put the link to the community in the chat, because it's also important you join the community so that you have like mind and you have people to speak to. It's also important that you again go to our app. What we have done with the app is we've curated every information we have and we'll put them in a particular portal, so you just have direct access to them. You don't need to search in different URL. They are there. So we have videos, we have articles, we have stuff there. There's a community there that you can leverage, and you can watch past open day where we'll talk extensively on other visa routes. If you're interested in those visa routes, you can go on the app and you can use that. Right. So I would go
May
to.
I know just to mention?
All right, fantastic. All right, so I will stop sharing now and welcome Coach Bade to the room. Hi, Bade.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me in this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Moody has been sharing a lot of information about what eMigr8 is and what eMigr8 is not. eMigr8 is the tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement. We focus on tech talent visas. Today's session, we will be focusing on the UK Global Talent Visa and explaining it, how it works specifically. But what we wanted to do really was to look at some common reasons for rejection for the UK Global Talent Visa. However, we are aware that there are some people in the room who are new to the eMigr8 community. So I will spend a few minutes just explaining the UK Global Talent Visa. But where I will focus on more will then be around the common reasons for rejection. And I guess maybe a couple of tips that you may want to take a look at, particularly if you are doing it yourself. eMigr8 community and the eMigr8 platform generally, we support a number of people who are on using a DIY approach. DIY meaning that they are spending the time to do all of the work that is needed for them to put in a successful application. We also support a premium community. So these are people that engage eMigr8 coaches on a premium package or another for them to also be able to submit a successful application. And eMigr8 platform is here to support both options. That is because we run a freemium model. We run a freemium model on this platform. Over 80% of what we do, we actually do for free, but then we pay a premium. We also run a number of premium services as well. So today's session, we will start with just explaining what is the UK Global Talent Visa, specifically the one in the field of digital technology, or that we also know as the Tech Nation Visa. The Tech Nation Visa is a subset of the UK Global Talent Visa. UK Global Talent Visa was created to help the UK attract individuals who are leading talents in their field. The visa itself is not only for the field of technology. There are different categories. So there is the Global Talent Visa for engineering. There's Global Talent Visa for arts, for research, for fashion. But there's also the Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology. Now, for each one of these Global Talent Visas that I've mentioned and the different categories I've mentioned, they have what we call the endorsing body. The endorsing body is a different organization who the Home Office is the visa department in the UK. They do much more than visas, but in the context of this conversation, is the visa department in the UK. The Home Office has engaged companies, organizations, for them to help them assess individuals to say, are these people leading talent in their particular field of engagement? One of those organizations is then Tech Nation. That is the only endorsing body as of today for the field of digital technology. And so that's the reason why the visa, the UK Global Talent Visa for digital technology, is also called Tech Nation Visa. And that's one of the information that we would like to share with you today to say it is possible. In fact, the rumor has it very strongly now that in 2025, that visa will no longer be called Tech Nation visa, specifically because Tech Nation may no longer be the endorsing body. In the February 2024 edition of eMigr8 Open Day, we shared a lot of information, and it seems that some of our community members were not paying attention. We shared information about the fact that the Home Office had brought out a bid for them to find an endorsing body for the digital technology field, Global Talent. That bid is in process at the moment, and there's a bit of a rumor that it is possible that Tech Nation would actually not be featuring as an endorsing body in 2025. Now, this is not confirmed. What is 100% confirmed is there's a process going on at the moment to select a new or renew the contract for Tech Nation to be the endorsing body. That is 100% fact. But there is rumor at the moment that it's possible Tech Nation will not get that contract. And for some of you, you may be familiar with this because some months back, over maybe 15 months ago or so, there was rumor to say Tech Nation was shutting down. And yes, Tech Nation indeed shut down because the directors, the entity, the shareholder that owned Tech Nation changed. They were eventually bought by a company called Founders Factory. However, the Home Office took a decision at that point to keep Tech Nation as the endorsing body for the UK global talent for the field of digital technology. That looks like it's going to change. But back to what I was explaining. I was explaining the UK global talent visa. I was explaining the fact that it's for people who are leading talent in their field, not just technology, but we are focused on technology on this platform. And Tech Nation is that endorsing body. Now, for every one of the global talent visas, what happens is that they have criteria that you will need to meet to show that you are globally attractive, to show that you are a leading talent in your field of digital technology. Now, that criteria differs from category to category, but we are focused on the digital technology field, and that criteria as of today is actually 5. Of those 5, you will need to only meet 3 out of the 5. The first category is mandatory, and that's the reason why we call it MC1, mandatory criteria 1, because there's only one of it. The reason why it's MC1, not just MC, is because in the old version of the guide, in 2021, 2022, there were actually 2 mandatory criteria. You only needed to tick 1 out of those 2. But that changed, and that changed to just 1 mandatory criteria. And then there are 4 optional criteria. The mandatory criteria is that you need to show that you're a leading talent in your field. Optional criteria are you show a proof of innovation, you show proof of recognition, you show proof of significant impact or contribution in the field of digital technology, and finally, academic excellence. Of those 4 I've just mentioned, you will need to prove 2 out of those 4. And that makes it a total of 3 that you will need to show to the assessors to say you are qualified for the UK Global Talent Visa. And so if you've been following so far, this is a visa available to individuals who are at the top of their field. This is available for individuals who are also promising in their field of digital technology. Because the visa itself, there are actually 2 broad categories for the visa. There is exceptional talent and there's exceptional promise. Exceptional talent means that you are already a leading talent in the field of digital technology, and you are recognized, whether nationally or internationally. Exceptional promise says that you are promising, you're a rising star, you are in the right trajectory. If you continue in this way, you will become a leading talent. And the UK wants you, whether you are leading already or you will be leading in the future. The reason why the UK wants you is simple. They want to be the technology capital of the world. Initial aspiration is to be the fintech capital of the world, and they're in a good position to be that. But then they want to be the technology capital of the world. And for them to do that, they understand, because they're a forward-thinking economy, that they need to attract the people who are talents into their economy. They need to make it easy or easier for those kinds of people to settle in their economy, to allow them to move and also to settle, become permanent residents, which is called indefinite leave to remain in the UK, and also as citizens of their jurisdiction. What that does for the UK is that it helps them to create employment. It helps them to create new innovation. It helps them to create unicorns and several others. So they're asking you to come. They're not doing you a favor with this visa and with many of the other visas we talk about on the eMigr8 platform. They're asking you to come, bring your idea, bring your innovation, bring your family, bring your dependent, bring everything you've got, and come set up and grow in their jurisdiction. This is why the visa is available. But they don't want everybody, because if it was that it's everybody that qualifies, then of course, a lot of people from all over the world will just simply move to the UK. And this is part of the reason why the UK is also dealing with the illegal migration challenges. eMigr8 as a platform solves the legal migration problem. And this is where the legal migration problem is threefold, which is that individuals are not able to meet their potential because they are not in the right place. Organizations are not able to grow because they don't have the right talent. And nations are limited because they don't have the right talent in the right place at the right time. And so this is really disjointed, because what I just described about the UK is not just the UK. Every forward-thinking country of the world wants the best of the best to move to their jurisdiction. The US has the US01 visa. Australia has the Australia Global Talent Visa. And I can continue. Moody shared a slide earlier that talked about some of those visas. And so your job is simple. Become globally attractive. Because if you are globally attractive, you have options of different parts of the world for you to move to, for you to settle in, depending on your choice. Because you have options and you can choose to stay in your own economy and also operate globally from there. eMigr8 supports all of this. Back to the Global Talent Visa. With the Global Talent Visa, that is the UK's answer to these disjointed issues that I've just mentioned. They've brought that visa and made it available for you as a talent to be able to use to move. But don't say it's not me you are talking about, even if you are not yet in the field of technology today. Because the truth is, within a 1 to 2 year period, that is if you have not done anything at all in technology, or you've never done anything in technology, an absolute newbie, within a 1 to 2 year period, you can show yourself as a potential talent. There's a method to the madness. And if you're already in the field of technology as well, because you already have transferable skills, because you've done a lot of things already, some of the things that you've done may count. Some of them you may never have considered as worthwhile. Some of them you may not have considered as indices that people are looking at, that countries are looking at to show you as globally attractive. But guess what? Some of those things actually count. Mentoring, for example. But if you're mentoring, we advise that you do that on a structured platform. And I digress a little bit there. But here's the point so far. UK Global Talent Visa, it's a visa available to you once you are able to show that you are either a leading talent or you are a promising talent in the field of digital technology. That then brings us to the application process. The application process is that you need to put together a number of documents, about 15 key documents, and many of those documents, 3 pages each. And those documents are supposed to help the assessor determine whether or not you are qualified for the UK Global Talent Visa. Those documents are, you will submit 3 letters of recommendation from people who are also leaders in the field of technology themselves. You will submit your CV, and a lot of times your CV will link to your LinkedIn profile and so on. And you will submit a personal statement. It's going to be 1,000 words of you explaining why you think you are qualified and what you will be bringing to the UK economy and the UK tech ecosystem. In addition to that, you will then submit 10 documentary evidence. One of the mistakes that people make is that in those documentary evidence, people then start writing additional letters and additional self-authored pages for those 10 documentary evidence. That's not why those evidences are being requested. They believe that what you've said in your personal statements, what your recommenders have said, should be sufficient to say whether or not you are qualified for this visa. The documentary evidence is there because if it was a perfect world where nobody lies, then that's all that would have been needed. But because people can lie, people can omit and so on, they've then asked you for documentary evidence for you to show that the things you said in your personal statements, the things that your recommender said about you, that these things are true. That's the reason for the documentary evidence. Now, the reason why I've said it that way is that think about what you are submitting, because now I'm talking to you if you are preparing your application. Think about what you are submitting. First of all, we usually would advise that you write your personal statement last. And the reason is because if you think about what I'm saying, the assessors are going to look at your personal statement and then we'll say, oh, this person says they are globally attractive. This person says they're leading talent. And then they will go look at your documentary evidence. In fact, they will actually start with the description of your documentary evidence, which is in the portal. I'll come to that in a moment. That's where they're going to start from. And then they will look at the documentary evidence to say, does it match what this person said? Do I believe this evidence? Can I go online and Google some of the things they said? And so on. That's the way it works. And so why should you write your personal statement last? The reason is because if you already know the types of documents you have, then you understand the places where you need to garnish your image, because ultimately it's a storytelling exercise. Of course, we're saying be qualified, then apply. We're not saying fake it till you make it. That's not what we are saying on this platform, right? We're saying be qualified, be globally attractive, but then ensure that when you are submitting your application, you make it easy for the recommender and the endorsing body to know that you are qualified. And so, because you already know the documents that you have, then you are now working backwards to say, okay, fine, based on all of these documents, let me then craft a story that my recommender, my assessor will know to say, yes, this is one of the people that they are looking for to come to the UK. Documentary evidence. Also, ensure that when you are submitting your documentary evidence, remember I said that you need to tick the box in 3 categories. What you don't want to do at that point is that you then fill 8 out of your evidence, you focus it on category 1, and then you have less evidence to show category 2 and category 3. think of it this way. You should submit at least 2 documents per category, at least. Preferably, we prefer to do 3, 3, 3. That's 3 documents per category. And then the last category, you would then pick whichever one you feel like maybe is the weakest or the one that you need to put more information or more evidence. And then you will use that version, that last document, to then tick that final box. That's what we typically would advise. But at the very least, make sure you are submitting maybe at least 2 documents per category, with the exception of maybe if you won a Nobel Prize. Because if you won the Nobel Prize, you are automatically qualified. In fact, the Home Office has made an exception for you to say what you just need to do is go and apply directly. You don't even need to go through the endorsing body. You can simply go to the Home Office to say, I'm the Nobel Prize winner in X, Y, Z, or equivalent of Nobel Prize, and they'll give you a visa to move and settle in the UK. Right. But if you haven't won a Nobel Prize, don't disqualify yourself, because they are likely still looking for you. And even if you are not qualified right now, don't forget what I said earlier. Even if you are not qualified at the moment, you can be qualified within the shortest possible time. And so that's the UK Global Talent Visa. I've said a lot of things already, and I will ask that if you have questions, can you please put it in the chat? It would help us to focus the last 30 minutes of this conversation to address your questions, to address the things that I may have left out, because what I've done is just to summarize a lot of things very quickly. And then reason for, I've talked about the fact that there's a new endorsing body coming, most likely. Right. So some of the reasons for rejection, and what we did here was we actually picked rejections that are already in public domain. Just to mention that if you send us your pro forma, the pro forma, for those unfamiliar, the pro forma is if you apply and you get endorsed, they won't give you any reason why you were endorsed. They will just send you your endorsement email. If, however, you are rejected when you apply, they will send you a detailed explanation of why they have rejected your application. And that detailed explanation is in the form of a document that is labeled pro forma. And that's why it's called pro forma in this context. Now, what I was explaining is that we speak with a lot of people on the eMigr8 platform, both for free and also at a premium. And I wanted to just make sure to say to you that your confidential information is safe with us. This is not what we are sharing on this platform at this moment. What we are sharing right now are information that is already in public domain. And this is one of the forums where we actively contribute as coaches on the eMigr8 platform. We actively contribute to the community. So that's what we are sharing. These individuals are choosing to put their pro forma in the public domain in the first place. This is important to mention, just so that you don't feel like, oh, if I send this to eMigr8, then they will publish it on their open day or anything like that. Right. And so you can find the links online to many of these pro formas and all. Some of the common reasons. And Moody, I'll just keep talking until I get a signal for me to stop, right? And then I'll spend like an extra 2 minutes or so. Some of the common reasons.
Yeah, I was going to say, you should go ahead. But we need time for questions, right?
Yeah.
Some people are, someone, just a quick one. Somebody's asking, let me just chip this in. How can I be a novel reader? Right. I just wanted to say this is well, we're having serious conversation here. I'm thinking what you're trying to ask is, how do you have to be a Nobel Prize winner? Right. That's not why we're here. That's just an exception that Buddy referenced. Right. But if you want to know how to be a Nobel Prize, I'm sure you can Google it. Right. So please, let's use the time, wisely, and ask questions and be polite and respectful in the comment section also. Okay, Buddy, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, Moody. So if the question is, how do I become a Nobel Prize winner? right? Be globally attractive. Keep working. You never know, right? But why I was mentioned that was because it is rare for you to be a Nobel Prize winner, but it is not as rare for you to qualify as a UK Global Talent visa endorsee. Now, this is one of the pro forma, and I've left it on the screen because you can also read it yourself, but I'm just going to point out a few things that you need to show. And these are some of the common reasons for rejections that you should be aware of. I mean, a lot of these ones are just, some of them are obvious, maybe some, maybe not so obvious. First one is that you need to show a track record of leadership or potential leadership. One indicator is not a track record. I dare say 2 indicators, maybe not a track record. But then when I start saying 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different indicators, then I start saying that, oh, this person has some sort of track record, because the visa is for you to show. One of the things you have to show is a track record of innovation. One of the things you have to show is a track record of significant contribution. So please bear that in mind to say, don't just go with one indicator and say, all my evidence is about this one indicator. Now, what I'm saying is not to say, don't go with one company. You can only, it's possible for you to be endorsed with just one company in your profile. Don't get me wrong. But within that company, you have to then be able to show, oh, this is how we showed innovation here. This is how we had significant contribution here. This is how we achieved national recognition or international recognition here, and so on. So I'm not talking about company. I'm just saying that don't say, oh, because I spoke in one stage, then I'm qualified. That's not track record. It's also important that you show your documents and you show things over the last 5 years, or if your career is shorter than that, over the period of your career. What you don't want is a situation where, oh, all of a sudden, 3 months ago, you appeared in newspaper like 6 times in the last 3 months. What the assessor will think is that, oh, okay, you got into the newspaper and you actively did this because you wanted to apply for the visa. That 6 newspaper appearance would have been more effective if it was over maybe a year, maybe 2 years, and all of that. The same 6 will be more effective because it shows some sort of track record. Important to note. Second thing is that you need to show, and they use the word sustained now, actually, a lot in many of the rejections that they give, right? Sustained national or international recognition. And what that means is that you can't just say, I won the best staff award in my company, so therefore I qualify. And I'm hoping that some of us are doing an assessment of whatever we are putting together in terms of our application at this point, based on some of these things I'm talking about. Also, your recommendation letter is not a letter to say, just compliment this person to say this person is really good and all of that. The recommender letters, there are 3 of them, right? And we've done a blog post to help you here as well. The recommender letter needs to point at some of your significant achievements, some of your significant innovation, some of the reason why the recommender believes that you are a leading talent in your field or a potential to be a leading talent in your field. The recommender needs to show that, oh, if you line up 10 software developers, this person will be top 1, top 2, or top 3 marks. The recommender needs to show that if you line up 10 product owners or product managers, this one's product will probably be the best or the second best. Because not all product managers qualify. Not everybody in the field of digital technology qualifies. Let me put it that way. And so it's important that when your recommenders, and a lot of times, many of your recommenders will ask you for points that you want them to show in the letter. You are not to write the letter for them, right? You are not to, and be careful about that around signing the letter as well. We've had cases of rejection where your recommender sends you the letter, then you send it back to the recommender on DocuSign, and all of a sudden the assessor is thinking you wrote the letter for the recommender. So be careful with that. Recommender, but the point I was making is that your recommenders needs to show, not just compliment you, but show to this assessor that, oh, this person is top of whatever it is that is your expert skill. It's also important that you are not showing yourself as a generalist. And in many developing economies, being a generalist is good. In the context of this visa, they want to see one field where you are an expert. They want to see that one field where you're saying, oh, I am an expert here. So yes, I'm also one of those that I've done software development, I've done product management, I've done product management, I've done all sorts of things in my career. I do technology leadership at this point in my career, right? But you need to show expertise in one thing. It's important for you to please ensure that you do that. The next one I would say is that high salary is relative. And so if you say you're earning high salary, you may want to show the context of that high salary in your industry. It's important. Because in the UK, high salary would be the 80Ks, the 100Ks, the 120Ks. But then in Kenya, high salary may be the 20K, the 30Ks in pounds. That's what I'm talking about in UK pounds. So it's important that you show something like a comparison of your industry in terms of high salary. Your recommenders, ensure that the quality of your recommenders are good. The quality of your recommenders will determine will go a long way in determining whether the assessor will trust this recommender's recommendation letter. So ensure that the quality of your recommenders are good. And one of the common mistakes some people make is that they then get 3 recommenders from the same company to write for them. So the CEO, the CTO, the CFO, all of them wrote letters for them. All of them are going to say the same thing. Your recommendation letter should be speaking about you from 4 different perspectives. The 4th perspective is your personal statement. 4 different perspectives from 4 different tone of voice, from saying 4 different things, pointing at you as leading in your field of digital technology. This is important. And I'll just pick one more because I see the time is fast spent and we'll focus more on the questions. If you have more than 5 years of experience, know that you will be judged as exceptional talent because the guide clearly states this. Also, don't depend on LinkedIn messages and Facebook messages and WhatsApp messages for your evidence. The guide clearly says that it's not allowed. It's not going to count. You can add them, but don't depend on them. And we can talk more about that later. I'll just mention briefly to say that if there are other pathways to consider as well, should you not be qualified for the UK Global Talent, should you need time or should you need an option and you're not yet qualified for the Global Talent, you could look at the UK Skilled Worker Visa. You could look at the UK Innovator Founder Visa. You could look at the UK Self-Sponsorship Visa route. These are routes that are all around tech that could also be useful for you depending on your unique circumstance. All right. The good news is that if you're on the skilled worker visa, right? And of course, there's a limitation with the skilled worker visa, which is the fact that you are tied to a specific employer. And so if the employer lays you off, there's a challenge there. That time you are on the skilled worker visa actually counts towards settlement. So we've had one individual within the community who got the Global Talent Visa, was already in the UK, got the Global Talent Visa, and immediately applied for indefinite leave to remain in the UK. And the reason for that is because it was already over 3 years on the skilled worker visa and was able to simply apply. Now, why I'm mentioning this is that don't say, oh, because I'm not qualified, I shouldn't start now. You can start building your profile to say, oh, when you are now qualified and you apply, you are able to add up those time together towards settlement. I'll mention that we do have a premium coaching session. This has been free, but we do have a premium coaching session coming up on the 5th of October. where we will drill down a lot more. It's a group coaching session. It's not one-to-one. Our one-to-one coaching sessions are still available, but we've been making available group coaching sessions such as this one, where a number of people are in the room and then we are able to drill down. It's not recorded. You can feel a bit safer in the room. You can share your documents. You can share some of your own concerns. You can unmute yourself and speak and so on within those sessions. We do have an early bird discount for that session at the moment. The link is on the screen and I'm sure will be dropped in the description of this video for those watching it later, and in the chat for those on the live session. So bear this in mind. You may want to register for this session. Also, for the UK self-sponsorship route, which I've just mentioned a moment ago, we do have a group coaching session for the UK self-sponsorship route as well. The UK self-sponsorship route is this. You create a company in the UK. That company will get a certificate of sponsorship, and all of this is legal. We're not going under the books or anything like that. That company will get a certificate of sponsorship, and that company will sponsor you as its director, all right, and as its founder in the UK. Now, this could be a route that you want to explore as well in terms of looking for pathways for relocating to the UK, or if you're already in the UK, pathway for settling in the UK. And this route is actually cheaper than some of the illegal routes that some people are considering and spending thousands, tens of thousands of pounds on routes that are not sustainable and puts you at the mercies of employers that are not running their business correctly. Because the challenge is that if that business loses their sponsorship, you are affected. So maybe you want to put your faith in your own hands rather than putting it in a different employer's hands. And the UK self-sponsorship may be able to give you that. There's also the UK Innovator Founder Visa, which is one of the options that you can look at. Within eMigr8, we do have a package that helps you as well, which is the Settle in the UK as a tech talent. And I know that Moody has shared a bit about it. So in concluding my conversation, hopefully I've been able to share some light into the UK Global Talent Visa, why it's there, why it works, and more importantly, some of the things you should do, particularly if you are doing it yourself. Thank you.
Fantastic. We'll allow you to take a breather. All right. We have a bit of questions in the chat, interesting questions in the chat. So guys, Coach Bade is still in the room. You will agree with me that that was a very insightful session, very clear, very detailed, and you can find yourself in any of, you can literally pick out what you need from the conversation, whether you are on a global talent path or any other visa path. There was a lot of information and example in his conversation. Right. One of the questions here, and I'll just answer a few of them before I invite Coach Bade to take other question. One of them is what are the 3 categories that are needed for the evidence? And how we answer this question is, please do go to technation.io and read the application guide, all right, because it's more detailed there. We have, or they have optional criteria, mandatory criteria, and you have to get familiar with those terminologies and get familiar with what they're asking for. So technation.io is the Technation endorsing body website, and they have the application guide there that you can read, right? If you now have specific questions that are blockers or that is preventing you from moving forward, then come to our community and we can help you unpack that, right? So please do that because we'll spend time breaking down categories upon category, which it might not be relevant to your question at the moment. So let's move further.
Just before you go away from that question, I would just also mention that we've done sessions, eMigr8 Open Day sessions, where we help to also break down those categories. You can look at video 1A on the list of resources from eMigr8. If you don't know how to get that, you can find that on the app. Video 1A has a session that we've done that actually broke that down a lot more. So that may also be useful. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. The next question is, which kind of Nobel Prize can I compete for as a software engineer. So that's a subjective question, right? So you can change the word and you win a Nobel Prize, right? Thank you very much. I studied social science. Is this for me? Right. So there are more to that question. The fact that you study social science does not mean you don't have other skill sets, that you can work on. But if that's all you have, then we'll say you need a self-directed roadmap, like we spoke about initially on how to get into tech, because this is for tech. We'll be talking extensively on tech so a self-directed roadmap on how to get into tech and grow from there is what I would advise you to look at. Right. So we have a question. I'm interested in the exceptional promise visa. I have a UK master's degree in IT. I am private IT projects. I'm trying to understand what you wrote here. I have a UK master's in IT. I am private IT project by the side and a private IT project by the side. What is my roadmap to qualify for exceptional promise? So now we will have to book a session, all right, to be able to understand some nuances and some criteria, some of the things you've done before we can, build a roadmap, right? So this is a general session and we cannot build specific roadmap for you on a general session. So I ask you to join the eMigr8 community and say you were part of the September 18th edition. The admin would schedule with you a session where we can have self-directed or advise you on self-directed roadmap, and we can have that conversation. But yes, you have a master's degree in IT, you have a private IT project on the side, and you're looking to having a roadmap that qualifies you for exceptional promise. Do remember that exceptional promise, you're looking at tech experience between 3 to 5 years in tech, right? So you want to have that in the back of your mind. You also want to go to Technician. We have a lot of video on tech on that speaks to exceptional promise and exceptional talent and the other categories. Badi mentioned video 1A on the app. I will also say go to technician.io, which is the official technician guide for application, right? You can also go there and equip yourself with those information, right? I'm answering this question so that Badi will catch his breath. But if you choose to say drop, so if you should say more, please jump in.
Okay, I'm happy to jump in, Moody. So just to mention as well is what we advise is when you look at that guide, as Moody was talking about, read it twice. The first time, read it like a storybook. Just read it just to see what are they even talking about. It will take you 1 hour to read if you actually read it, right? Second time you read it with a pen and paper. Now, when you're reading with a pen and paper, what you are noting down is if you're already qualified, what are some of the things you've done that tick some of the boxes of what they are talking about? If you are not yet qualified, what are things that you can do within the next 1 year, maybe 2 years, for you to then tick that box? And that's where you will start that journey from. And like Moody mentioned, we have a lot of video resources and a lot of free resources available, many of them through the eMigr8 app, many of them through the eMigr8 community that can help you. You can also book a one-on-one coaching session. Moody has shared out, you can get that for free. But then if you want a premium coaching session, that's also available.
All right. Fantastic. Right. Buddy, why I have you now, I will ask somebody asked the question, is £70,000 a high salary in the UK? Would that be considered as a high salary for someone in the UK? £70,000.
So that is also relative. Generally, yes, it is. That's higher than the average salary in the UK. Average people in the UK earn less than £40,000, believe it or not, right? So that is actually higher than the average. But it is also relative because if you say that you are working in Amazon or Facebook, for example, and you're earning 70K, you're probably a junior. So it is really relative. And what I was saying in my conversation was that please and please give the assessor your context. So you can use things like Glassdoor and so on, so that they can show that, oh, in my peer group, I'm actually top based on this evidence. Don't make the assessor have to work that out themselves. But generally speaking, 70K is high salary.
Okay, so we have that for the individual that asked that question. Hope that answers your question. 70K is high salary in the UK, but please be guided with contests, because remember that you're not going to be in the room when the assessor is looking at your application. So you want to create the context for him to understand why it's a high salary. All right, so the next question: if I do not have experience working on products or working in a product-based company as a digital marketer, right? From the information you have shared, I'm yet to be eligible for the global talent visa. All right. So, but do you want to speak to that? Because there might be nuances and there might be other areas that he can look at.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, because the visa, specifically UK Global Talent Visa, they require you to be working in a product-led digital technology company. What that means is that the product that the company owns is how it is primarily making money, not that they are using technology to do their business. So that is a limitation. Second thing is that you've just said you're a consultant, the way you described yourself. They've also said that if you're a consultant in that product-led digital company, you are not qualified by default. You will only be qualified if you are an employee, a founder, a director, and something else in that company. But if you say that, oh, you're a contractor or consultant to that company, you are by default not qualified. All of this is in the guide that we've told you to go read anyway. But there are nuances, and that's why I said don't automatically disqualify yourself. Because if your consulting company, right, so Bincom, for example, is where eMigr8 is incubated from, where Social Lender is incubated, where Social Lender is incubated from, right? If your consulting company has a product that it is running, you may be able to use that product as to lead your application. Of course, don't go and mop up to say you are removing all the consulting you've done. All of it adds up. But what will lead your application will be a product that you've done. And so if you haven't done that already, then what you can do is, yes, I'm not yet qualified as of right now. What can I do so that I can become qualified? Do you want to become a startup founder of an idea you've been thinking of for a while, right? If that has a lot of traction, that may be what is missing in your profile today. Do you want to join a startup? There are several things that you could do depending on your unique circumstance. Hopefully that helped.
Yeah, I think that does. So what I've done, I have just dropped the technician endorsement guide for global talent on the chat. So if you scroll down, you'll find it on the chat. That would just click on the link and it will take you to yeah. Okay, Barry also dropped it earlier, so fantastic. So that makes it easy for you to, but one of the things that we advise is that please do your research, right? If you're looking to migrate to any ecosystem or any country, you should be able to spend a few minutes of your day researching about that country, researching about the visa, and asking general question around it so that you are thoroughly furnished and you're making informed decision. So the next question is: I have a background in agriculture, and I want to change to data analyst. Do I qualify? Well, if you are changing as a data analyst, you qualify, right? But you said you want to change, so I don't know where you are on that journey. So what we'll ask is that please do change and pace yourself, have a roadmap. We have the guide on the chart or in the chart already. You want to read through the guide and see how you can navigate it, right, with the guide, right? So, but nobody's disqualified. Everybody's welcome, right? But make sure you are ticking the box and you are meeting the key criteria that technician is looking at. And Buddy mentioned that, so if you're in the room and you're already in technology, Buddy mentioned that the endorsing body might change in 2025. So if you are in the room, you want to take advantage of the fact that you know the current endorsing body, you know their criteria, and you want to quickly apply before there's a new regime or there's a new pharaoh in town, right? So
if you are qualified already,
if you are qualified already, that's what
don't
I'm
waste
saying.
money by submitting a
Yeah,
stuff.
if you are qualified already, please think about applying before the end of the year if you are qualified already. And we do pre-qualification anyway, so you can come on our ecosystem and ask for a session just to check if you are qualified already. We'll be happy to have you. Can you assist? So next question, can you assist someone who is a civil engineer to go through global talent visa route? Yes, if the person is in tech, civil engineering, again, we're exclusive talking about tech. So your background might be civil engineer, you might have other background, you might have built skill sets outside of civil engineering. So we need to understand where you are, right? And if that's all you have as a civil engineer, we can have a roadmap that you can work towards to becoming globally attractive in the field of technology, right? Buddy, you
Let me
want to say
just add
something?
to that as
Yeah.
well. So just to mention that if you are in civil engineering, right, on this platform at this moment, that's eMigr8 Visa, we are focused on tech and tech-enabled routes, right? We do have the likes of the UK self-sponsorship that doesn't limit to any company. So with the UK self-sponsorship, it can be tech, it can be any other kind of company that you would use for that. But generally speaking, on this platform, we focus on tech and tech routes. The reason why I mentioned that is because if you are in engineering, you could actually apply for the UK Global Talent Visa, but not the Tech Nation Visa one. Remember, I mentioned that UK Global Talent Visa has multiple categories. One of them is digital technology. One other category is actually engineering. Your endorsing body is RIANG, Royal Academy of Engineer, RIANG anyway, if you Google it, right? And so maybe your question is, I'm a civil engineer, I'm qualified as a civil engineer, global talent, how do I apply? If that's the question, we are not really focused on that on this platform. We focus on tech, right? At the moment, we will expand in the coming years, but we have not yet expanded to that. If your question is then, oh, I want to then become global talent in the field of technology, then fantastic. The question is, are you at the beginner level or do you already have transferable skills? Because guess what? Business analysis is business analysis, whether it's in tech or it's somewhere else, right? So if you have tech transferable skills already, you may not be starting as a beginner. May not be. But even if you are starting as a beginner, eMigr8 platform can help you to get to the point where you are from level 0 to level globally attractive. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. It is. If you are getting value from this conversation, please drop it in the chat. Let's know that we are communicating, right? Give us a thumbs up. Let the coach knows that he's answering your question and you are getting value from the session. We like some feedback. And if you are not, if you think your question has not been answered, please bring our attention back to the question. You can repost the question so that we'll look at it again. Right, the session is for you. We have less than 15 minutes to go, right? So take advantage of the time left, right? Fantastic. Again, remember that we have 85% of what we do at eMigr8 is free, right? So we invite you to engage us in as many as in various ways, as long as it's within tech and it's purposeful. Please don't waste our time. Time is very important. All right. Okay. So the next question is, if someone has experience in open source projects but hasn't worked in a firm. Now, I think that this question is incomplete, right? But I will allow Coach Bade speak to it. This person has experience in open source project, but he has not worked in a structured environment in a firm and is wondering what are his chances. I'm just helping him paraphrase the question. He's wondering what are his chances with Global Talent Visa.
So it depends on what the open source project is and what kind of traction that project has. But it's a high chance because you should think of that, your open source project, as a product, right? And once you rephrased your project that way, maybe you then start seeing a couple of things. Number one is, do you have good traction? If you have good traction, then that means that project ticks the box of innovation, and it also ticks the box of significant contribution or impact automatically. but that is traction now. So that means that a lot of people are using your project. So let me give an example. If you say to me that, oh, you're the one that built, I'm thinking of an open source project. Okay, WordPress. So Dries that built WordPress, for example, it will automatically qualify because 80% of the websites in the world are running on WordPress, right? So it will likely qualify. Sorry, Dries is Drupal, but WordPress, there's the other guy that did WordPress as well. There are other open source solutions as well that are smaller, but then are adding a lot of value in the field. Kubernetes, there are several of them, right? So the question is that what traction does that your open source project have? Who is using it, right? Because most likely some of the people that would write for you as recommenders may be the senior people, CTOs, that their organization depends on this small open source project that you built. All of a sudden, they are telling a story about you to say you built this thing that the world is using. You are qualified. I hope that helps.
It does. It does. Interesting. I wasn't even looking at it from the angle you took it from. So it does. Fantastic. Um, this question is around recommendation letters, right? The person is asking if the recommender is not using DocuSign, but the letter is on letter-headed paper with LinkedIn profile of the recommender accompanying it. Is that valid?
DocuSign is not required. I know the industry and online, there's this whole question of, oh, you must use DocuSign and all of that. DocuSign is not required. I'll say it a third time. DocuSign is not required. You can get the recommender to write the letter, print it on a printer, that's a physical printer, and then physically sign it and scan the document. It will qualify. You can use DocuSign, it will qualify. You can also even use image signature on a letter. It would qualify. As long as any one of these ones, the recommender doesn't have to think twice to say, oh, is it possible that this letter is fake? And if they feel like this letter is fake, part of what they've done in the past is they can actually call your recommender because their number and so on is there. And sometimes they can simply Google the recommender and send them an email. So that's important, right? So the important thing is not really about what platform you use to sign it. However, your recommender signs other letters, let them sign it that way, right? Don't say it must be DocuSign. In fact, why are all three recommenders signing on DocuSign at the same time? That also starts telling me something to say, oh, maybe this person wrote it for them. Think about it that way.
But there's an underlining question that I think the person is asking, which suggests that is asking, should the letter be signed at all? Because if it's only letterheaded paper, doesn't that suffice than also signing it?
The letter should be signed. I would prefer the letter is signed. Some assessors may ignore it if it's not signed, but the letter should be signed. But signing could simply be the recommender typing their name in bold letters. That qualifies as signature in many countries, including the UK, right? But the letter should be signed because that signature says something to say I am endorsing this, I'm recommending this person. My secretary could have written the letter on my letterhead.
All right, fantastic. I think that like I said, guys, thumbs up. Let's get reactions. Let's know if this is value to you and if it's adding value. Somebody is asking, what are the best way to network to get those exceptional recommendation, not just your work, not just your work of place. Now, this is a whole session. If we're going to talk about networking, is a whole session that will break down. I would just say get very involved in community projects, right? That's the fastest way to connect and to build network. Get involved in community projects, go for events, meet people, volunteer your time, volunteer your skill set generally. So those are the best way we can quickly give it that. We don't have time to talk extensively on networking. There are books you can read on networking. There are tips on networking, but the fastest I can say is Get involved in community projects, volunteer your time, learn your skill. Also get involved in mentorship, right? Get a mentor people. That's how you build network, right? Thank you very much.
So sorry,
What is
Moody,
the
one
hope?
more thing is just
Yeah,
know that your recommenders must show how they know you and know your work for 1 year minimum. All right.
exactly.
So just know that in whatever it is you're doing.
Fantastic. You must have worked with your recommender, whoever is writing your a recommendation letter, you must have worked with them for at least minimum of 1 year. That is what the guide says, state clearly. All
So,
right.
so Moody, let me just correct that because when some people here worked with them, they
Mm,
think is employed in their company. No, what
mm.
Moody is saying is that this recommender needs to show how they know your work for 1 year, not that you need to have done be employed by the recommender. Just to correct that, Moody.
Okay. All right. Again, what is the hope of someone who has 15 months left on their postgraduate visa? That is a beginner for data analyst. So again, 15 months is over a year, and you can do a lot with that time. First of all, you can be an expert data analyst in that time to start with. So build a lot of learn fast, get yourself volunteer gigs, get yourself apprenticeship gig, get yourself a data analyst job. You can do a lot in 15 months, right? Again, I would say self-directed roadmap or a personalized roadmap will benefit you a lot. So there's a lot you can do. 15 months is a long time. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I would say there.
Just to add to say, we believe that you can actually be exceptional promise within a 1 year to 2 year period if you do the right things every day. Right? Within 1 to 2 years, you can be exceptional talent. We are not saying it is, we're not saying that it's, what's the word? We're not saying that it is easy to say you just wake up 1 year later and then you're exceptional promise. No, but we are saying it is possible if you follow a clear roadmap on a day-to-day basis. Because ultimately, what the UK is looking for are people who are leading in or showing potential of leading in the field of technology.
All right, I'll move swiftly because of time. Someone is asking, can your family be part of the self-sponsorship package? Coach Brady, do you want to speak to the self-sponsorship package? Is it family
Yes.
friendly?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because with the self-sponsorship route, the visa you will get is actually the UK skilled worker visa. That's the visa you will get, the same skilled worker visa that everybody else gets. And that allows you to move with your spouse and dependents as long as they are less than 18 years. So yes, your family can move with the UK self-sponsorship route.
All right, quickly, this person is talking about LinkedIn, right? You mentioned something in your presentation. So you mentioned something about LinkedIn, and it is not it's not counting as an evidence. I'm trying to read that correctly. What about someone that has that's a top contributor on their field, and they have a badge on LinkedIn? Can this be an evidence? Yeah.
So it's a bit tricky. If you go and read the guide, they clearly mention that LinkedIn is not, don't send us LinkedIn documents. They clearly mention that. However, what you are trying to show is that, oh, I've done so much on LinkedIn that you should consider this. What I would say is, and if I was coaching you or we're working with you on this, we would add it under the mandatory criteria. We'll add it as maybe a screenshot on half a page or a quarter of a page or something like that. But we won't depend on it as much as other things that you probably already have. Because if you're a top contributor on LinkedIn, there are a few other things I can almost think about immediately that you probably already have. I would depend on those more than me depending on your LinkedIn screenshots.
All right. Fantastic, right? That's a very fantastic answer. Somebody's asking, I have only about 2 actual years in the industry as a back-end engineer, and time, half of that was when I was in the university. Okay. What is the approximate time that you recommend for someone like me before I can apply? I'm trying to paraphrase the question because of the way the person structured it, right? This person has 2 years industry experience, but half of that time he was in the university, or he or she was in the university, and is wondering what is the approximate time I can invest before I can apply or start my application for global talent. And I'm thinking this is for global talent also.
Yeah, so
And I would
starting.
just, okay,
Oh,
go
go
ahead, Ola.
ahead, Modi. Sorry, go
So
ahead, Modi.
I would say if you read the guide, it's clearly stated that you should have for exceptional promise. Now, the global talent visa for technology is for digital technology is broken down into two categories: exceptional promise and exceptional talent. The exceptional promise says that you should have experience between 3 to 5 years in the industry, in the tech industry. Then the exceptional talent says you should have experience 5 years and above. So 5 years, 10 years, 15 years experience. That's what they consider as an exceptional talent. So you want to make sure you have at least 3 years experience before you are applying for technician endorsement, right? So you want to pay attention to that. You already have 2 years experience. What you should be focusing on is what are the impacts, because again, it's storytelling, but storytelling centered around your impact, your contribution towards advancing technology. So what is your impact? What's your success story in that 2 years? Then you probably want to do an extra year to top that so that your application is solid. Now, this process can be expensive, so you don't want to just apply for the sake of applying. You want to make sure you are ready and you've checked the box. I would advise again that you go read the technician visa guide. It's on the chart, it's posted on the chart so you can have easy access to it. Click on it and digest it. And I think as a backend engineer, Buddy will have one or two more things to add to what I just said. So, Buddy, do you want to give it a shot?
Yes, I can. So you were in the university, you may also have been working on a product. You may have been working with other people. You may have had a startup within your team in the university and all of that. As long as those things have traction, they may actually count. So you may not discount yourself as just a student. You may actually be an entrepreneur who was in school. That's one. Second thing is that even if you only had 1 year total experience, you could qualify for the global talent visa. You could qualify because if you show specific traction, so I use Nobel Prize, but that seemed to have derailed a few people. But let me use a different one. If you built a product that 1 million people are using every day, right? And you did that within 1 year, you are most likely automatically qualify because you have innovation,
Traction,
you
impact.
have
Yeah.
significant impact, you already have leading talent and all of those things. But of course, you have to add a few other things to it. My point is that it's all context based, and there's a lot of storytelling that you would need to help the assessor see that, oh, I'm one of those people that you are looking for as being globally attractive.
All right, fantastic. The next question is easy, and I'm going to take that. It's asking, are there technical writers on the eMigr8 platform that work with applicant in the process of gathering document? Thank you for your help. Yes, there are technical writers. Yes, we offer services that can help you during your process, right? Some of those are paid services, I have to say up front, but yes, there are technical writers that you can. If you go on the community, or any of the numbers I shared earlier on the screen, you can send a text message. Those numbers are text and WhatsApp only for now.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp only for now. And so you can send messages. We'll respond to you. Or if you're on the community, you can ask the question in the community and the admin will connect you to the right person who would either be a technical writer to you or be a coach that will walk you through the process. All right. Thank you. As a marketer, are you not also qualified? As a marketer, so there are two sides of tech. There is the technology side of tech, and there's the business side of tech. So as a marketer, you can fall under the business side of tech. But however, there are things that you have to have been doing in a period of time that will qualify you. So it's not about your job title that qualifies you, it's about what you have done in the tech ecosystem that qualifies you. So there are a lot of things to unpack. Our advice again that you go through the not the Bincom now, the technician endorsement guide. which is on this on the chart at the moment. Just click on the link and spend some time. But they already gave us some tips on how to read it. First time, read it generically as a storybook. Second time, read it with a pen and a paper, and just note down things that you think you already qualify for, and you can start matching from there. The next question is, what if I am a digital data and technology delivery manager in a UK government department? Am I qualified? Again, it's similar to the question I just answered. Your job title does not qualify you or disqualify you. It's what you have done in the tech ecosystem. So we need to appraise your tech profile, right? Your job title is just an item, nomenclature in your tech profile. We need to acknowledge, not prioritize. We need to appraise your tech profile and check what you have done, check your impact story, check your, the project you have worked on, who are the people using that project and that product, for example. And you can come to that conclusion yourself. We do have a program where you can join, right? And I'm trying to remember the name. I spoke about it earlier, where we appraise pre-qualification exercise. We can work with you on a pre-qualification exercise to see if you do actually qualify as at today, and if you don't qualify as at today, we can help you and coach you to say, these are the area you need to strengthen. These are the area you need to work more on to qualify at a later date. So don't disqualify yourself based on your job title. And I will ask you to join the community and read the guide alongside, and let's have conversations, right? I promise that we have gift at the end of the session. I see that Bade is already in the chat and answering some question. So somebody's asking for links. Okay, there's just join with the WhatsApp link, right? Or again, send a text message to the number that I shared earlier, and that would connect you to us, and we can put you in the right community, right? Yes, I've answered the question on technical writers. We have technical writers. Please repost the guideline. Okay, we'll see if we can do that. Okay. All right, we have a new question. If the recommender is not using DocuSign, I think we've answered that before now, right? If we've answered that, hello, please, you said you would like to use all right, fantastic. Please, by the way, we have somebody on the platform, right?
Yeah.
He has an e-learning platform for training people in the area of tech, right? And he's on, I think he's in the ecosystem. I'm not sure which of the community it belongs to now. Yes, we would like to have conversation with you to see. He works out of Ghana, if I remember correctly, and he has an e-learning platform. We would like to have conversation with you, and I would ask you to join our community. The community link is somewhere on the chat, right? Join the WhatsApp community, and we can have conversations from there, right? Or fantastic. And I also see if I can reach out to you. Yeah. Again, if you're looking for the requirements, if you want to know the requirement, if you go on the eMigr8 app, you look for video 1A, where we talk extensively on technician and the requirements, right? Video 1A is what you want to look for, and we break it down. It's about an hour worth of resources, of material that you need. We don't have the time to break it down, because our time is fast spent today, right? But that's available.
A question that came in that I think is best to take live. It will be too difficult to type and answer. It's the second to the last question. Can I take that?
Give me a minute. What will I qualify for as a research scientist? So, for research scientists, you can check the Global Talent Visa for education, right? And that's for research. It's fantastic. It's straightforward. You just need, I think, recommendation from a senior lecturer in your field, and the works that you have done as a researcher. I'm sure you get that straightforward. If you go to gov.uk and you type global talent, you find the various global talent visa. Go to education or go to research, and it's simple and it's a lot more straightforward. And yeah, all the best with that, right? Please, where is eMigr8 based? We're everywhere. We're online. We're virtual. We're remote. We have physical locations. We have a meetup next week in London, right? One of our partner company has a meetup next week in London. It's called the London Tech Meetup, happening in the city in London. So if you're in London, ask for the address. We'll communicate that in the group, right? And also we are remote. You can go on our website, you can go on our mobile app, and you can reach us at any time on those platforms, right? Do you know anyone that has gotten the self-sponsorship visa? Yes, we do. A lot. I think this question has been answered. I'm just going through over them again because not everybody sees those questions in the chat and the answers in the chat. All right, fantastic. So we have a question. I have worked for a couple of years outside tech, but have moved into tech and have less than 5 years in tech. Is that cumulatively? Because you said you've worked for a couple of years outside of tech, all right, and you've moved into tech. And so outside of tech, want to know what have you been working on? But I will allow Coach Badi take this question. Can I potentially qualify for exceptional promise alongside the other criteria you mentioned? So Badi, do you want to take this question?
So the simple answer is yes, and I could simply have just said yes in the chat. But the reason why I wanted to clarify is because let's use law, for example. I like law. I like using law because it's really straightforward, right? If you've been a lawyer for, let's say, 10 years, but then you now switched into tech in your 11th year of experience, and you're applying on your 13th year of experience, you only have 3 years of tech experience. If you do qualify based on all the other criteria, then that makes sense that you can apply. But what some people fail to account for, which is why I wanted to talk about that live, is that sometimes if in your CV, for example, you've done something in tech before, then you left tech, went to become a lawyer. But online, if I Google you, I find some of the things you've done maybe 10 years ago in the field of technology and all of that. I won't be able to, as an assessor, I won't be able to say, oh, you only have 3 years of experience. Because at that point, I'm looking at some of the things you've done before, switching back to a different career, and then coming back into tech. So it's important for you to just be clear on what your career journey was like to the assessor, so that they will see clearly to say, oh, this person just got into tech over the last 2 years, over the last 3, 4 years, and so they would qualify under the exceptional promise criteria. The guide allows for it, and that's actually, we have many people who have qualified as exceptional promise, even though they had many more years of experience outside technology.
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much. If you have any more question, and this is for everybody still on the chat, you have won yourself a 10-minute consulting session or coaching session to ask questions. It's 10 minutes, so we ask that you are brief and brilliant in those sessions. You go straight to the question, and if it's a question that you can simply Google, or if it's a question that the guide already answers, we have already shared the guide on the chat, right? And you can use that. You can answer that already. So you have 10 minutes. Or how do you redeem that 10 minutes? You have to join our community and say to the community manager that you were in the September 18th Open Day edition, and they are going to schedule you for a coaching session for 10 minutes, right? So congratulations for everyone that is still on the call. All of you, congratulations. You have that. Please use it and maximize it. It's 10 minutes. A lot can be unpacked in 10 minutes. Thank you for your time. If you have more questions, we're going to take them in the community, right? We will completely run out of time. We're going to take them in the community. That's another reason for you to join the community and probably get more insight and better perspective from different angles. If this has been beneficial to you, we want to see your thumbs up. We want to see your ratings. We want to know, want to hear your feedback about this session. Yes, you can ask different question in that session, in that 10-minute session. There are a few things Bade talked about earlier. There is the sponsorship session happening, I think, this Saturday. It's a paid event for discounted to £20 if you pay before Thursday, right? If you pay before Thursday, if you're interested in the self-sponsorship visa route and you want to join that, we've established that it is family friendly and we are able to move with your family and you will get the skilled worker visa, I believe, right? So you want to join this session on the 21st, Saturday 21st, 12:30 p.m. British Standard Time. You want to join that. It's a group coaching session, and we can have more time to speak to your uniqueness, right? You can have more time to answer your question and break it down on that session. So you want to join that session. To join that session, you go to emigrate.com/self-start UK, right? The link is on the charts. Also, use that link to join that session. We also have a session coming up, navigating the global talent visa for October the 5th. Again, online, it's a paid session, group coaching session, and there are loads of benefits for joining that session. You want to register for that, or you want to send the link and the invite to your friends, colleague, especially for those that are already in the UK and are looking to switch visa and they are looking at the global talent visa. This is a perfect session for them. And again, if you are still on the call, click on our links, join the community, join the WhatsApp community to redeem your free 10-minute session. We have a sister company, the Bincom Dev Center UK. And we have an event on the 27th of September in London. For those of you that are in London, it's navigating tech career. That's the conversation. The theme of that event is a free event, it's a physical event in London. You can come and hang out with the team in London, right? So that everyone, please reach out and ask more questions. If you can make it, do make it. If you have friends in London looking at tech career, as a pathway, or looking at how to navigate their career journey, they should come through, and there are a lot of questions will be answered in that session. It's a physical session, and you want to join, and it's free. 27th of September at 6 p.m. In London. So that is our session for today. But before we go, we usually have a question, and I'll just ask Badi to speak to this question, right? And that question is: we have, 5 sets of people in the room. You already know them. Those that are just getting into tech, and those are about to. And we have less than 1 minute to answer the question. So I will just allow you speak to this category of people because we need to end this session at 10 on the dot.
You set me up, Moody, because it's 10 already. All right. So the 5 category for beginners in the room, if you are just starting your journey, what we've sort of shared with you is a template, is a model of what your career should look like in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years. What you should be doing now is planning to not just gain the skills and experience that you need, but also the exposure that you need. So you are building everything at the same time. What is less optimal is for you to first get all the experience. Then when you are 4 years in, then you are now trying to build all the other things that would be helpful for you. Yes, we focus on the UK global talent today, but a lot of this criteria is also useful for US01. Is also useful for French Tech visa. It's also useful for all sorts of visas all over the world. It's also useful for your own career. It's also useful for you if you are looking to move from one level in your field, junior to senior. It's also useful if you are switching from technical to management, right? And several. So my point is that plan your journey. And that also speaks with the intermediate people already to say you have already started, you've already built some things. What is left for you to have an holistic profile is what you should be looking at to say, do a self-assessment. Where are you today? Vis-a-vis your peers, but vis-a-vis the guidelines that we've shared. Use the Global Talent Tech Nation Visa Guide as a benchmark, as a template, or use the old one. or use any one of those other global talents as well, whichever one. But the technician one is really detailed, right? Use that as a template to see where are you today and where do you want to be? Where do you have to be in the next few months or maybe a year, and then start working towards it. For the experts in the room, you're probably qualified already. You probably already tick all the boxes and all. What we would say is just make it while the sun shines. Some people get rejected, not because they don't qualify, but because they've not put themselves forward in a way that the assessor will recognize that you are qualified. And in some cases, you may have a bit of gap in your profile that you need to work on. We can help with that. If you are in the UK, this is the fourth category now. You're in the UK, not yet on a pathway to settlement, and you are looking at what can you do. The truth is that it's the same criteria, whether you are in the UK or you are not in the UK, right? It's the same criteria. It doesn't get easier or harder in terms of the criteria, but some things, there are different ways in which you will be able to achieve some things. Relativism also counts at that point, because depending on where you are, the industry you're already operating in and all of that, and you could be operating in your own economy as well as in the UK. So you could actually be working remotely in your own economy, and some of your evidence may come from your own economy. That's also possible. My point is the criteria is the same. You need to then figure out, how can I tick this box? If you're ready to apply, we invite you to take a look at the eMigr8 packages. A number of things are available for free. We genuinely want to help, right? We genuinely want to help, and we give a bunch of things free that you can start with. 10 minutes coaching session that is available free. And well, of course, you have to qualify under the criteria. Moody has announced it here just now to say, if you're on this call till this time, or you've watched the replay video till this time, you have qualified for a free coaching session. It's just 10 minutes. And what you simply need to do is go on any of the eMigr8 communities and just note there to the community manager on the community to say you were part of this edition of eMigr8 Open Day and you have won a coaching session. They will take note of your details, and they will also share the link to book the session. Right? They would have to cancel your session if you don't qualify, obviously. But if they'll share the link to book the session, use the free one if you're looking at the free one. And of course, if you're looking at the premium session, you can use the premium link as well to book a coaching session. The point is that seek help as much as you can. Look at people who have already gone through the journey. Look at people who have an idea of the criteria, an idea of the application process, and so on, and let them take a quick look at your application. That may be helpful. That may save you from getting a rejection, then seeking for premium help, and then at that point, then submitting a successful application. We are saying that if you are doing it yourself, we've built the eMigr8 app to help, right? We genuinely want to help. Many of the coaches on the platform, they're actually not doing it for the money. They are doing it because they are able to give back and help other people. And so take advantage of the help that is available to you on the platform. Moody, I did
All
that.
right. Yeah, that helped. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. If you are interested and you need help, please send a WhatsApp message to this number, right? And we can connect you to any of the services you are seeking to get connected to, right? So if you are having difficulty joining with the links that I shared earlier, please send these are WhatsApp only numbers. Please send WhatsApp to this number, right? And I will say thank you very much. Thank you, Coach Badi, for taking the time to speak to us. Thank you for breaking it down. Thank you for telling us how it works, the UK Global Talent Visa, explaining it layer by layer, structure by structure. And this has been very insightful, very knowledgeable, right? And the video, for guys that are on call, the videos will be live on our app and also on YouTube. You want to go back and listen again. There are a lot of things that Badi said, and you probably must have missed a few of them. So we advise that you go back. And while you are watching, please follow us on YouTube, right? Click the link to follow us on YouTube and set your notification so that when we have a new video, new content on our YouTube page, you'll be notified of the content that we have on our YouTube page. Thank you very much. This has been the eMigr8 open session for the month of September. We'll come again. We'll have a next open session in the month of October. Please, as you journey along, journey with like mind, join our community, spread the message. There's a lot of free things happening here, and we're genuinely trying to help as many people as we can with these informations that are available and with the information that they need to succeed. Thank you. Do have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you very much. See you in October.